All right. Hello. I'm sure you're wondering why there's three other people. Okay, not three. I don't know how to do math anymore. But we got people. Y'all already know me. Y'all subscribe to this channel. You know who I am. But I'm sure you're wondering who the guy to my left is that you've seen like in every podcast ever. I'm sure you wonder who that is. Sir, can you introduce yourself even though everybody knows you?
How are we supposed to know who's on your left and who's on your right?
Oh,
I can't see your
I'm not
screen.
going. I'm not gonna hold you. He's on my left, which for you is also
oh shit.
you putting your hand over here, but he was over here. So
Okay.
I was,
so you had to be real extra, and you trying to talk about where somebody at, and we don't know where you. Like I'm at the top right now, so you gonna point up like this? Like that's not gonna work out.
Alright. So what I meant to say was there's a veteran on this podcast that ain't me. That man's name is DatManTyler, also known as Chef What You Want, aka the man to one of the sides, maybe right, maybe left. I don't know until I look at the recording after. Can you please introduce yourself to people?
I mean, you just introduced me.
Oh
but
shit, I did.
Yo, Ashley, you killing me, bro. You gotta introduce the people and then introduce the topic. I'm killing me. And you supposed to be the vet. You supposed to be telling me what's going on. Come on, bro.
In other news, we also got our other new regular. He is an official writer for Fan-Sided. You can catch all his good stuff. He's gonna have some draft stuff. He's gonna have some other draft stuff. He's gonna have some NBA stuff. Our boy Jalon is out here. He's here.
So
This is gonna be our podcast talking about NBA news and stuff because I like doing it solo, but it's also fun. And I'm sure, again, those who subscribe to me and seen Ruble, y'all know I do stuff with her for music. Same thing with my homies right here. So we got a couple things to talk about. Got AD to LA. You know, we got friggin' Kyrie trying to figure out where he going, and we got potential D'Angelo Russell destinations, draft trades, all that good stuff. So we're gonna start off with the one everybody already knows. AD to LA. It's finally official. There's no more, oh, he might go there or he might get traded to Boston. We now know that Anthony Davis is going to be a Laker. What y'all think?
I mean, bro. First of all, I feel like there's clearly no winner for the trade yet until after the draft. Period. Biggest thing is like you got to look at what they do with the fourth, what they're gonna do with Lonzo, because Lonzo was on the trade block for the seventh pick like 2 weeks ago, and then everybody started talking about. I mean, Pat Bev, everybody else, like just Terry Rozier, different people that was going to be on like veterans that they could sign in free agency instead. So they might not even do that now. So instead, like, I mean, you just have to see how they end up going through it with the draft because the Pelicans could win out. I mean, they're set like down the line versus the Lakers. They're going all in and they gutted their roster. Their roster is chopped up. So
yeah, because like the official trade was Josh Hart, Brandon Ingram, Lonzo Ball, 3 future first-round picks that apparently stretch out even farther beyond that. So a lot of people are starting to compare this to the Celtics Nets, even though with the Celtics, Paul Pierce and Kevin Garnett were about
100.
Dusty as my like great grandfather's friggin' whatever. But basically, you got Celtics Nets comparisons. You got that. And when people look at it, I know you're saying there's no winners necessarily because, again, we should wait to evaluate. But knowing how NBA Twitter and NBA World works, everybody's already saying Lakers are going to win the championship, and everybody's already saying the Pelicans are going to be godly in like the next 2 years because it's like a 2K simulation now. So
I think.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that the Lakers. I think they're probably gonna win at least one within these 3 years that LeBron's there. But as long as you have Anthony Davis for all these years as well, I think that's definitely something within the realm of possibility. But at the same time, if they didn't win this year, it's solely because they ain't got no money and they ain't going to. And Rich Paul, I think, right?
Yeah, clutch.
No, Rob Pelinka.
Oh,
No, Rob Pelinka, yeah.
I mean,
Low key Rich Paul.
Basically, Lakers guy at this point.
Pretty much. He just completely botches this free agency and doesn't sign anybody worth a damn. And it just, because no, you can win with LeBron and AD, but what's going to happen when you run into somebody like if the Nuggets turn out to be as good as everybody thinks they're going to be next year? with an experience on their belt. You run into somebody like that, what you gonna do against that? You could do all you can, but if they outscore you, defend you as best they can, you're not gonna win. 7 game series. But then for the Pelicans, it's gonna be wild. You're gonna have to just see down the line. Like down the line, it may be like they won this trade if they do something like a dynasty forms over there for like the Warriors did, like where they just kind of built through the draft. Now they got Lonzo's great, Brandon Ingram's great, Zion's great. Whoever this fourth pick, if they trade it, if whoever those picks are, if they become pretty good, even just decent role players, all that factors in over time and everything. So it's definitely gonna be a while just to see who wins. But as long as both teams win a championship, it's a win-win deal at this point.
I guess that goes into the question of free agency for the Lakers, because there was a little snag in this deal where if they don't do it, like they don't get the papers done at a certain time, they're not even gonna have the money to do the max free agent. But
I think it was July 30th.
Yeah, no, it was. I think it was like. Well, I'll edit it in or something, but like it was like around July 4th, I think. Like it had to be done before that.
Oh no, July 4th was the soonest they could do it. July 30th, they wanted to hold it off to the end of the month. That's how they would have the money. The Pelicans want it done as soon as possible, but the first day they can do it is July 4th.
And most likely, looking at how the Lakers front office has operated for this past year, I would put it past them to make that mistake and then be left to like have AD and LeBron and question marks.
Alex Caruso.
Bunch of scrubs.
Look, Alex Caruso is a god, and I will not take disrespect to my bald veteran.
He's probably like the 16th man somehow on Ashton's 2K roster, and that's why you're giving this man dap right now. Come on, bro. I'm not going to hold you. I saw the sliding, but I wasn't sure what was going on. Like I just saw it like going like this, and I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And then it said, "I'm like, okay, yep, that was it."
Yeah, the Lakers, they can either really win this free agency and if they just fill out their team with a lot of good shooters like Seth Curry, Darren Collison, Terrence Ross, some of the bigger names I've heard them trying to get. They can get some guys, split up the money between them. Cool, but at the same time, I don't know how many people. I know a lot of people are gonna want to like just take a pay cut just to win the championship because it seems almost like a guarantee at this point. But I don't know how many people are gonna want to deal with the Lakers front office for one. Two, I don't know how many people really want to play with LeBron James anymore at this point in time. Aside from Anthony Davis, it's a lot of question marks on what other people really want to do. It's just a real kind of like what you gonna do kind of move.
Yeah, like as far as it goes, like when it comes to this idea, like people are kind of like, because from some stuff I've heard, they've kind of been like mad that people have been saying that nobody wants to play with LeBron. I don't think that. I get like the frustration with that, but at the same time, when you see what went down this past season. Do you want to be in that? Because if you're not AD, you're pretty much just like, I probably can get rid of you or something else. Unless you're like good enough to where they need you. Like, and even then, they would still be looking like Kyrie had, like back in Cleveland, we thought Kyrie might get like sent out for Paul George. Or like Eric Bledsoe, which that's a downgrade.
That one didn't make sense to me either.
Yeah. As far as it goes, so I think we all agree that like in terms of winners, there's not really going to be one. And in terms of like, I guess, how do we feel on the idea of Kemba Walker if they were to decide to just say, F it, we're going to get a third star and figure out the rest? Do you think Kemba Walker is the best guy to go after, considering that we have Klay Thompson's injuries, Kevin Durant's injured? So, again, you have two guys that are out for a year. So, if you really want to, you can just X them out of free agency for real. But as far as it goes, Kemba Walker to the Lakers, will we immediately give them the title, or will we say, I don't know?
Bro, I don't think you got your cap spot like that by signing Kemba. I don't think, like, if you have one spot, if you say you make it to the 30th, right, and you have the one max slot left, I don't think you say, I'm going to have, like, two guards that nobody knows starting, a bunch of dudes on vet minimums, plus Kemba Walker with the two people they have in LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and you say like that's a bucket. Like I know, like, okay, people say Kyrie and Kimba are dang near the same person. It's just Kyrie got to do it on a bigger stage. I really don't see that. I always felt like Kyrie was better than Kimba was. Period.
Yeah.
I think the microwave hot streak that he can go off in a quarter alone puts him in a different way, that like in a different ilk than Kimba is. The Kawhi thing is so far past that it's like you might as well not even worry about it. That's what I feel like anyway. Durant, I feel like same thing. Even if he was in, he's not in next year, so that doesn't really do you much, and you just gutted yourself for what, an empty roster spot, pretty much. Because he's there, he would be there, but he wouldn't be playing, even if you were lucky enough to get that down. So I think Kemba is like, and same thing with Jimmy Butler. What does that do for you if you have those three
And no point guard.
and no point guard in the West of all? If this was the East, I'd say go murder them, like just go for it. But in the West, I mean, come on, bro.
It's about to be a dogfight over there. Like if I'm Kawhi Leonard, I think if I'm Kawhi Leonard, I might go to the Western Conference just simply for a guy like Kawhi Leonard. Obviously likes competition. I think this is probably be the most competitive the league has been in a couple years now. So if the Rockets figure out what's going on in their front office, because I know Chris Paul and James Harden are currently going at it for whatever reason, but I mean, if they figure out some stuff to just work it out and be best buds and win a championship, cool. But I mean, they still can be one of the best teams. You got the Denver Nuggets out there. If Portland makes some real moves this offseason, they could be back in the conference finals again. Then you got the Lakers, obviously. We don't know if Steph Curry's going to go out here and drop 40 a game and just carry the mess out of this team, if we're being honest. If anybody could do it, it's Curry at the end of the day. I'm a Cavs fan, but I mean, I'm all for top guys. But I mean, I believe if anybody could score 40 points a game or close to it, it's Curry at this point, at least this year. I don't think he should, because I think a lot of teams should take into consideration load management, like Kawhi did, to not risk injury, and two, because I want to see the best players play the best games in the playoffs. Honestly, it's like I could care less, if you don't play this game in the regular season or whatever. But if you can be there in the playoffs and you're healthy and you're ready to go, then I can rock with that.
We just saw like how the playoffs pretty much turned into a dogfight, and at the end of Game 6, I know for me, and we all here agree it's awesome for Toronto, and we're not gonna put any asterisks on any shit because we don't do that, because that's just disrespectful. It's just disrespectful, and that's totally why I became sort of a pseudo Warriors fan, but not really. I'm a Wizards fan. I suffer. Jalen's the Bulls fan. He's suffering, and Tyler's a Cavs fan. We're all suffering together. We have no real dog in this fight. We just pick whoever we like.
Yeah, really.
I can just live my most recent ring.
Oh, you! I forgot. I'm the only one over here with no rings. Jalen got 6. Tyler got friggin' 1. He had the legendary 3-1 comeback. He got the championship and the memes. You got crying.
True, you do got the memes. I got the crying Jordan though. I mean, that's kind of clutch.
I got the wall from like 3 years ago. Ugh.
Yeah.
You get the wall and the steps.
Stop. We're not gonna go there. We're not gonna
the jokes with the Adidas boot, that type. You got that. Yeah.
Not doing this.
I'm not.
The next thing we're gonna say is, we got trade Beal. Oh, that's stupid.
Yo, literally. Okay, speaking of trades,
the Lakers.
Not the Lakers. Okay. But if I'm being honest, as just a fan of basketball and looking at the Wizards right now, I don't see John Wall coming back at 100%. I don't think he is. I don't think he's going to be anywhere close to what he was. I think his assists will go up, if anything, but I don't think he's going to be as explosive on offense as he was. And considering his shooting wasn't the greatest when he was healthy, I don't think it's going to be like, night and day now out of nowhere. So, I mean, that's my biggest worry. I think now, as I'm the Wizards, I start planning to rebuild. As much as I love Beal and everything, I think I look at the trade with the Pelicans for that 4th pick and see what I can get for the 4th pick, and that's still Drew Holiday. I look at that pick. I look at that trade.
We don't even have a general manager at the moment. So, I'm going to just hope.
Well, they already said whoever's the interim general manager is gonna be the one that runs the draft and the
You know
trades and draft.
what's funny when like I don't know if y'all caught it, but like Game 6, the buzzer hits right, and they're celebrating. Woj comes out on Twitter like out of nowhere. Yo, so the Wizards gonna like offer Masai like 5 years. I'm like,
they're
what was it?
$10
They were
million
gonna.
right now.
Yeah, I think it was 10 mil in a part owner state.
Yeah, and he had full control over the team. It wasn't nothing like. I don't think that's gonna happen personally because just like Masai gonna look at it and he gonna look at his championship and go, yeah, I'm gonna stay in Canada.
See, and that's the crazy thing. See, y'all literally are like right in my wheelhouse. So you were talking about, I know you had part of the intro. You told me I was like writing for Fansided or whatever. Literally, that's the team that I'm supposed to cover for. So the first thing when Tyler's first statement was like, we got to start thinking about rebuild. I sat there and looked at it. I was like, I know you're right, but I want you to be wrong. You know what I'm saying?
What do we have? We have Ian Mahim. See, this is turning into a enraged Wizards fan podcast. But anyway, so we have Ian Mahimi, the worst contract of that 2016. Like everybody's like, Wall's going to be the worst contract ever. That's only because he got injured, and it's not like he's trash. So we're not going to sit there and say it's the worst in terms of that. It's sort of like it's the same.
It's just worse in terms of the numbers. In terms of like how much he was paid, considering there's no production right now.
It's just like Chris Paul's contract, where it's only bad because he's old. If he was not old, he would be like, oh, that's a great contract for him. But anyway, as far as that goes, that kind of gets into the draft. I think as far as Lakers, we agree. They pretty much have a potential to win the title, but we got to see how they fill out the rest of the roster. Pelicans are looking intriguing, and Lonzo Ball could potentially be moved. And I saw some people saying that, and I was wondering if you were going to mention that, because I know you're a Bulls fan. And like with the 7th pick, would you be happy if y'all got Lonzo, considering, for one, he can't really shoot, and like there's other, like, and we're going back to Pelicans real quick. The idea that they've completely dominated this trade, we have to see how Brandon Ingram comes back from that blood clot and how Lonzo plays. I mean, Josh Hart is the only real consistent guy, and I feel like people are not giving him his due. But like they did get hampered by injuries towards the end of it. But regardless, if you're a Bulls fan and let's say Jerry Reinsdorf comes up to you, oh wait, no, he dead. He is long dead. I'm trying to remember. If Garpax comes up to you. If Garpax,
I didn't want to say his name neither, bro.
If Garpax comes up to you and says, hey, we got to trade for Lonzo with the 7th pick, what are you saying to that?
Fam, I'm going to just be honest with you. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it. The thing is, because I feel like it's not going to be it's not going to be a player swap. It's not going to be a Lonzo for the 7th straight up. It's not going to be that. Yeah. And I can't think of anybody that they're gonna want that puts that value there. What do we do? Give you Chris Dunn? Sure, I don't want Chris Dunn, but you don't want Chris Dunn either, I'm sure. That's part of the reason why you're okay with flipping it for the 7th is because you can take Garland at 7, Kobe White at 7. You can, if Cam Reddish falls down to 7, you can take him and play him out off. I mean, he already played with Zion once. He's already used to being a spot-up shooter off of dribble penetration and stuff. So, I mean, I think for us, personally, trading it for Lonzo, it sounds like it's all the potential, it's all what we think Lonzo's potential is. But that's the same thing as the pick. It's the same. So the only thing that we're not guessing on with Lonzo is, we know you haven't played a full season once out of 2 years. We know that your 3-point shooting is janky, and we know that you're not aggressive on the offensive end outside of being able to throw Hail Mary passes from full court, which, is no disrespect because I said this on Twitter earlier. If I had to pick between Lonzo and B.I. fitting on the Pelicans, I would take Lonzo because B.I. is really up and down, while I can look at Lonzo and say, he's going to be a 10, 8, and 7 dude. That's just how it's going to be. But I need to know that you're here. We trade the 7th for Lonzo, who's injury prone. We lost a pick for somebody who could be on the court consistent versus somebody who we still got the jury out on. I don't know about that one, bro. So, Zach LaVine's a handful enough with that contract.
I think this will be, for Lonzo, his most significant year. Yeah, I think this will be his most important year in his career. And because he just pretty much shedded this whole big baller brand shit. He has his own kid now. He has a kid now. He's starting to think as his own man and not as his father's man. Like he's not like just because his father says something isn't just what he's gonna think anymore. And I've noticed that just in his style of play in the second year, and then as we got deeper into the year, what he was looking at. Just in his press conferences, he just sounds more confident with his own decisions without anything LeVar had to say about it, which is been his biggest thing is dad always saying this and dad's always saying that and dad's putting these expectations on me that I haven't lived up to yet. So now I feel like I'm trash. But now I'm in a whole new market. I've got my own a market that feels like they believe in me at this point, regardless if that's Chicago or it's say New Orleans. I think he's gonna be a great passer wherever he goes. If he stays here with Zion, that's gonna be alley-oop city over there. If he goes to Chicago, it's gonna be alley-oop city over there.
Yeah,
So I mean, at the end of the day, I think he'll be fine. I don't think his 3-point shot's gonna take like just a crazy jump or anything. But yeah. I think he'll probably improve his scoring from 10 points a game to maybe like at the most I say 15, and only because he doesn't have to share the ball with LeBron. Like you're sharing with Zion and Brandon Ingram, who are both pretty much the people you're gonna pass to, and if you're not passing to them, that means you're probably getting a closer to wide open shot most of the time because you're probably gonna be focused on trying to keep the ball out of Zion's hands, out of Brandon Ingram's hands on a corner three, things like that. So for Alonzo, I think, like I said, this is probably gonna be his most important year, and just as a man and for basketball for him, just seeing if he could really just step up and live to those expectations that everybody has for him.
Bars, yo. No.
Trash for that.
It's so deep right there. He's like, as a man, this man about to have a deep year. So I guess turning it over to Cleveland, we sort of looked at Chicago a little bit. We gave a tiny little peek to Chicago since they have, potential draft trade. We looked at the Wizards and I just said, nope, because I'm living in denial and I'm gonna live in denial. Nobody's gonna change that. Anyway, so along with that, the Bulls potentially could trade at 7 or take somebody at 7, and you said you expressed interest in Darius Garland. Let's look at the Cleveland Cavaliers. What pick do they have again?
5 and 26.
So it's 5 and 26.
Screwed. I mean, I know I got screwed too because we got the 9th, but dang.
Bro, that's 7th back to back. Like, bro, I'm
twice.
Yeah, last year that's how we got Wendell. And the thing about that pick is, like, don't get me wrong, Wendell was a good piece next to Laurie, but bro, when I was crossing my fingers, hope to die that we was gonna pick Michael Porter. I knew he didn't play. I know he didn't play all last year, but I'm telling you, Zion, RJ, Ja, and then Michael Porter in terms of that rookie of the year race. I'm telling you, people gonna sleep on him the same way. I mean, I think the Ben Simmons situation is a little different because he didn't really sneak up on anybody. But Michael Porter falling all the way to the Nuggets past the lottery. Listen, dude.
Because the Wizards are stupid, but we'll talk about that another time.
Yeah, bro. Honestly, I saw the Clippers had 2 chances at it and picking Jerome Robinson with the second pick out of the 2 shots. I'm like,
who is Jerome? Dang,
there you go.
Exactly.
That's my thing. He came out of Texas A&M and he was a 2nd-round projection. Took him at 14.
Watching him slide down the board was just like, bruh. I was like, even though he's hurt, I want this kid. Like, I could wait a year.
That's
especially if I'm in the lottery, that means I'm probably not going to win. So, I can wait a year for this kid to come back and then get another draft pick to go with this draft pick. I was just kind of like, Nuggets just came up.
So you think Cleveland should have taken him, Ty?
I'm cool with my pick.
Yeah,
I don't think I would have picked him at 5. I don't think I would. I think the highest I picked him is 10, only because of the injury, and that's it. But the same thing, like for this year's draft, the same thing is going to be said for Bobo. Bobo is if he's healthy, he is. That's
supposed to be your guy, Ashton. That's what everybody that's where people keep putting him. Sekou, then Boya, and him.
I think he'll actually be pretty good if he can stay healthy. And
they got him like
thing. If he can stay healthy, that's his biggest thing. And I think for teams like if the Hawks don't trade their pick to the Pelicans, which is one I've heard, if they don't trade that pick, then I think they pick up Bobo because you have like 6 picks. You can't even sign all those players first of all. Second of all, if he slides even further down, if I'm the Celtics and if I'm not trading the pick, I'm picking up Bobo.
Yeah.
So teams with space, teams that don't need them this year, that don't need them to be great immediately, I think they pick them. Teams like the Wizards, I would pick them as well, who need a center and can afford to take this shot at a good center because they have nothing else going for them right now.
I would like to interrupt this with saying again, we don't even have a general manager still.
Okay, though
Still got one.
the thing though, I mean, you gotta look at it, bro. Like at the end of the day, like general manager, no general manager, no matter who y'all pick up, they coming in with whoever they got. Because at this point, like you said earlier, like the interim general manager is the one making the pick, bro. And I mean,
Yeah, it hurt.
it ain't no
You
call,
better hope he makes the right call.
dude.
Man,
All I'm saying,
the only
I'm gonna just put
I mean,
crying short like over my face.
I think he'll slide. I think Bobo will slide down to the Wizards, only unless the Pelicans trade the 4th pick to the Hawks, and the Hawks move up to the 4, and then the Pelicans take 8 and 10. Then I think.
So you think it's Hawks or bust regardless? Because ESPN had them dropping all the way to Utah.
I think if like I said, if I think the Pelicans get the 8th and 10th pick, I think they pick him because you can afford to do that. Now you have 3 rookies. You can afford to have Bobo either be trash or be good. If he's good, it's great for you. If he's bad, it's not really going to be anything because you got Zion. So, I mean, at the end of the day, you'll be fine regardless. So that's the only way I see that happening is if you're either a team that will be okay with him not turning out to be as good as you think he is, just due to riddled injuries, or if he turns out being good, it's a big help to you.
So, before we there's a team in the draft we have not mentioned yet, and it's hilarious we haven't because we were talking before we started about how this team, I tell you what, everybody was hyped for this team. They thought they was gonna get Zion. They thought they was about to get KD. They thought it was gonna be Kyrie, which we're gonna talk about again. You know, the good old Timberlands and the Jersey, New York Knickerbockers. What happened, bro?
Somebody needs to put a crying face emoji on the entire city of New York.
Facts, bro.
Like I haven't felt so bad for a team since the Cavaliers picked up Anthony Bennett. Like,
bro,
it's just like everything that can go wrong has gone wrong.
And then
KD's hurt. Kyrie don't want to come because he just signed with Rock Nation, so he's probably gonna go to the Nets. If anything, you traded Kristaps because you thought you was gonna get Zion
to the Mavericks.
To
the Mavericks, bro.
Yeah, ain't really got nothing else on the team. You're probably not gonna get DeAndre Jordan back. I think he's on the team, isn't he?
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, with Dennis Smith Jr. I mean, your biggest hope is that Dennis Smith Jr. just comes out here and is just playing lights out with RJ. Kevin Durant gets hurt, which was your biggest hope. Which, if I'm the Knicks, I have nothing to lose. I still throw a max deal at KD because I think KD will still be. KD's not like uber athletic, which is why I think John Wall won't be as good when he comes back because he was uber athletic. KD is a pure scorer. Can score from anywhere on the court. I don't think that changes because of his ACL, if I'm being honest. I don't think that changes his footwork. I don't think that changes how he's going to take a jump shot. I don't think any of that changes. So I think you throw max money at KD, and I think KD comes back. Don't get me wrong, I know he comes back at 32 years old or something like that. I know he's going to be a couple years older. But at that point, now you got RJ who has a second year under his belt. If you don't get another player, like just say you just have the same roster you got now. Now you got Dennis Smith Jr. playing with KD, who we've seen show pretty bright spots as a solid point guard as long as he has somebody else around him. And then hopefully you can just sign. You'll still have money because they have 2 max spots, so you can still sign some other players there. So I mean, you see who you can get to pair beside this team. So I mean, KD and RJ look pretty good alone. So I mean, I guess you just see what you can get. But I mean, if I'm the Knicks, I have nothing to lose. I throw money at KD.
The only thing is, like, you sound pretty like content that it's gonna be RJ, but I mean, I don't know about y'all, but my phone getting blown up right now, and I mean, it sounds like they're content with Stan at the 3rd pick, but they are trying everybody. I mean, it seems like the Heat, the Suns and the Bulls are heavily interested in Garland. Apparently, I don't know why they would do this after just taking a guard. He's been shooting up the draft board. I think it was because of the combine. But
Garland got hurt I think in the beginning of the year, and now
It
it's
was
like
5
the
games.
Kyrie situation where you just don't know. Like you feel like he was supposed to be really good, but he got hurt, so now he's like you don't know if he's gonna be as good as he thought he was because he basically missed college.
So you would take RJ period, right? Regardless of
I,
the
I would take
circumstance.
RJ period. I think the three best players in the draft are the first three picks. I don't trade. I
Yeah,
don't trade that. I was like, don't get me wrong. If you trade it, you're gonna get a decent haul. You're gonna get back maybe at least. I'm at least getting back 2 first-round picks this year because
facts.
this is
Yeah, for
this is a
sure.
stacked draft class plus a first-round pick next year if I can. I mean, I'm throwing other players in there and assets, but
Yeah,
I'm getting two. I'm getting 2 this year and 1 next year at least. But
period.
mainly
Because
because next year's draft is stocked with big men.
it's supposed to
Next
be
year's draft is
crazy.
going to be stocked with big men. So I
Yeah,
mean, I'm trying to get big men next year. I'm trying to get guards this year. So I mean, if I'm doing that, if I move down, if I say I don't get RJ and I move down, I'm trading with the Hawks. Honestly, have the best package for draft picks this year. If I trade down, I go to the Hawks. And I got 8 and 10. I'm probably going to pick up if he's still on the board, DeAndre Hunter, who's a small forward out of Virginia. I'm picking up DeAndre Hunter, and then I'm going. Also, if Darius Garland is still there, I'm picking Darius Garland. I'm going looking at Kobe White, players like them. Although I don't think Kobe White's will be. I think Kobe White's going to be on the Suns, from being honest, just
yeah.
because the
I
Suns
think
seem to
Kobe
love
and
Kobe
Darius.
White.
Yeah, I don't think Kobe or Darius will make it past 8.
Considering,
Yeah.
because the consensus has been like RJ third, and then after that, it's pretty much unknown. If the Wizards take Bobo, I'll be happy because for once we actually picked a big man in the draft, and it wasn't like it wasn't a dude that's going to be stuck in Germany. I'm talking about you, Aaron White. I remember you. But anyway, bad Wizards memories
I
aside,
remember that trade too.
we agree that the Knicks probably had their best chances, probably just like pretty much just rebuild with what they have because at this point okay, let's get into it then with KD, right? The
Mm-hmm.
Warriors are apparently already ready to offer a 5-year full max to him and Clay, and I'm not even going to try and figure out how that's going to mess up with the Draymond stuff for next year, but
Kick Draymond ass out. We do not need Draymond.
They gonna trade him,
Like,
bro.
don't get me wrong.
really?
Don't get
They
me
gonna
wrong. I
trade him,
like
bro.
Draymond. I like Draymond on that team, but Draymond,
You
he
would
had
take
30 turnovers.
you would take
You're a power forward. How'd you get 30 turnovers as
he's
a
like a
power forward?
guard. Come on.
No, bro. We're gonna learn
You don't
about him
handle the
next
ball.
year. We're gonna learn about him next year
Y'all
as a
think
second option. That's gonna be the difference between whether or not they trade him or not. I'm trying to tell you,
y'all think Draymond is just gone.
bro. The thing is, okay, it depends on the circumstances because if they don't get KD, he's staying on the roster. If they re-sign KD, they're already gonna be at 300 mil paying over the luxury tax without the Draymond contract.
They said they wanted to be like the Spurs.
The Spurs don't pay people, bro. Like, you could be like the Spurs all you want to when people take pay cuts. There's a difference. When you're giving 2 people 5 years plus, I mean, 5 years with a lot of 100 millions added onto it over the course of the time. I mean, between the two of them, I mean, there's no way you can't force feed everybody. You can tell me that arena prints money all you want to, but I mean, dude, that's bread. At that point, you're top heavy as crap.
You're definitely not keeping Draymond at that point.
Mm.
One, I don't think it'll work in a locker room. I think at that point he just becomes a problem, which he already is. Plus, I think you're keeping. Plus, I think if I'm the Warriors, I think I'm just gonna keep Boogie at this point. I mean, he's a solid center who I can get for less, who I can have for less money. He's a 10 and 10 guy at this point in his career. I mean, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I don't think he's gonna produce that every game all year long, just because he has flashes every now and then. But he's a solid center who's all the Warriors really need at the center position. It's just somebody who can rebound the ball and get me some offensive rebound and put it back up. All I need from a center.
So you think Looney gonna be like Festus Ezeli in 2016 and just bounce to Portland or something?
Dang.
Looney gonna go somewhere and be trash, just like everybody else on the Warriors. That's not a big name.
Yeah, because
Steph Curry and the Warriors make everybody around them better, just like LeBron James, and they get people paid, and it's ridiculous. Because Tristan Thompson is trash, and he got paid, and it's ridiculous.
I sensed some salt coming.
Yo,
I felt that one.
I told you this. We all three of us as fans have respectively suffered in different ways. Okay, well, I think they'll find it. They'll try and find a way to keep Draymond. But as far as KD going, do we think that he's staying because of the injury and the way that emotionally he is now tied to that franchise in a way that he wasn't prior? Because everyone kept saying that like Steph was a golden boy, Clay's like been here, Draymond's been here, they're homegrown, and KD's just kind of this guy that like he's like the random dude that like you say you can come to the party, but he don't know nobody, so he chilling in the corner. Like that's how people felt about KD. Like really, like I saw a lot of statements where it was like KD does not have. He's sort of a mercenary that's just here and he's getting these rings, but everybody felt like. But now his value to the Warriors is actually really illustrated, especially when he came back and we were like, oh man, like because he was
he was in the game for 11 minutes and had like 11 points.
and
he
like
was doing anything and everything.
I'm telling you, the whole NBA world was mad. Jalen was ready to be like, all right, guess we got to get Gold State title.
I was already sick, bro. The way I look at it when it comes to him resigning, period, like I've had the same mentality from the beginning. There's two ways he goes about it. He either picks up the player option that's only 1 year and you rehab off of their bills. That means there's no long-term commitment and they are paying you bread to literally get yourself together.
You got 30 mil just banking in.
That's what I'm saying. Just living at the house. For real. That's how I've always looked at it. Injury aside or whatever the circumstance is, the injury factors into it a lot more seriously to me. My thought process before he got injured was pick up the player, get one more in San Francisco with the new arena, flash it out, make a little bit extra money with your business investments on the side while you're there, 40 plus times a year, and then make your move after it's done. Or go ahead, take your max. The Knicks are throwing it at you, and it's so desperate they might as well give you the pick to pick for them. It's that bad. So it's either at this point whether you go by yourself or not, at that point you're easily a recruitment destination out of the fact that KD's gonna be able to talk his way through getting a couple people to come over. Maybe not the year he's hurt, obviously, but next year's free agent class isn't as crazy as this one, but it's not dry either.
If you believe 2K, which no one should go off 2K, but sometimes 2K is really good at predicting this stuff. But if we believe 2K also, then Kevin Durant's going to Indiana. But anyway, or Philly. But anyway, yeah.
No money for that.
When it comes to a KD, if he is to leave, does that change Kyrie's trajectory, or do you think Kyrie is set for Brooklyn?
I don't think Kyrie's set for Brooklyn after AD got traded.
Wait, what?
I think things change. I think he doesn't like. I believe before AD got traded, it was set in stone. I was ready to go to Brooklyn. Now there's a guaranteed championship in LA almost at this point. Not a guaranteed, but best odds right now for a quick chip for a year. I can come back out of that year, go team up with KD after he's healthy, get another chip, possibly.
Here's why
if he goes to a week East.
There's only one reason that wouldn't happen, and we all noticed what happened. Everybody would think he got sunned. Everybody would literally because if you got to think about it like this, Kyrie's perspective when he left, we all agreed like it was cool because it was like Kyrie's trying to do his own thing, and also I think low key he was like, I'm not going to sit here and let LeBron just leave me with all this trash. Because like, come on, if LeBron would have left, it would have been Kyrie, Tristan, JR, and the team they got now. And Kevin Love is like only so good enough to help him. Him and Kyrie are not defensively there, but that's a whole different story. I respectfully disagree only because I know all of us have this where we're not trying to get sunned. We're not trying to have nobody make us look like a kid. And if Kyrie goes to LA, everyone's going to be like, see, you need LeBron, Daddy LeBron. Look at the Lonzo memes when they got traded. There was a little like Photoshop of like Lonzo, the little boy, and he was leaving his dad. And LeBron's
bump that. I saw an Incredibles meme where he was on the computer looking up all the trades and stuff, and saw LeBron was in the background trying to plot on sending them to the Pelicans for AD. It's already bad. Don't get me wrong. He shouldn't be worried about memes and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, he can't. The guaranteed ring thing, like no matter what the circumstances is, that might not even be a choice he's allowed to make. He might end up going to New York or Brooklyn because unless he's willing to take a pay chop, which makes him look like he got sunned even more. unless he's willing to take a pay
A
chop, I don't think
significant
they're gonna
pay
have
chop.
facts. I don't think they're gonna have the money to do it. He's gonna put
I don't
himself.
think it'll happen.
I think it'd be crazy, bro. If he
That would
pulled,
be like if
It'd
we
be ridiculous, but
yo,
that starting
yeah,
lineup would be hell.
sure
that's
I
like
would.
wouldn't
the
want that.
Cavaliers just upgraded from like they just were like, all right, love, get out of here. We just gonna add Anthony and Davis. Like what? At that point, I would be mad. I would be upset. Like that's why I'm not upset because I was talking to some people. They were like, "F the Lakers." I'm like, you realize, like, for one, when it comes to Anthony Davis, he's not really the healthiest, or at least he has been lately. But y'all remember those first few years? It was like Anthony Davis elbow, Anthony Davis foot, his friggin' thumb hurt. Like something was wrong with him, like every other week. And now suddenly he's perfectly healthy, and they're gonna be a dominant force.
My thing is, the good thing for Anthony Davis is you're about to go play with the healthiest man to ever play basketball.
Yeah, because he's had a whole.
LeBron is the picture of what you need to do to keep your body healthy. Because for whatever reason, he comes back every year looking like he shaved off a year.
Yeah.
At this point, we're playing with baby LeBron. At this point, I mean, he's just shaving off years left and right. Like he's gaining a year in age and losing a year in the body. It's just kind of like he's just coming back better than ever. Like, not better than ever, because obviously he's not as good as he was, but he's still a beast. And for him to be as dominant as long as he has been for literally your entire career, which is what 13 years at this point, going on 14. It's kind of just like, jeez, bro. You know. And now I was like, all right, now if I'm Anthony Davis, I'm 26. I can go find out how LeBron has been able to keep this reign of being so healthy, keeping his body right, because that's what he does. And I can find that out straight from LeBron himself. And I can go and hopefully it works for me too. And I can stay healthy and play out these years and get me some rings. Maybe even eventually do it on my own terms. Go to my own team. Get people to come to my team because I'm here, not because LeBron's here.
Yeah. So for Kyrie, if he goes to Brooklyn, D'Angelo Russell can't be there because there's like 15 guards at that point. And at first I was like, Karis LeVert's a shooting guard, but then I'm like, Spencer Dinwiddie's there, so you would have Spencer, Kyrie, D'Angelo, and Karis. That's too many. So if I'm Kyrie, why am I going to Brooklyn? Because for me, I don't see. I'm basketball wise. I guess I see like they're a young team, but we literally just saw Kyrie with a young team. Didn't work at all.
You're making your own point.
The bigger thing for Kyrie was one. This is the team he grew up around. They were in New Jersey when he was a kid. That's probably one of the biggest things. Kyrie is clearly more of a family man, more of a I'm doing it for my city kind of man. Mm-hmm. He doesn't really. If I'm like just looking at Kyrie, don't get me wrong, he wants his numbers, he wants his points at the end of the day. But he's not a guy that's just like, I'm just doing it just to do it. He typically has reasons. The reason I don't think it worked out with the Celtics was because you got through into a situation where you really didn't get to play with the team the first year because of injuries, and when you did get to play with the team, now everybody has their own confidence because they did it without you. Now they're trying to do it with you. You're trying to integrate that into a confident young team that's trying to do their thing still, prove they can do it with you on the court. So it's just like different things. It's all these little factors playing into his decision as to what he's gonna do.
All right.
No, I feel you. I mean, that's the main thing. I like to what I'm saying. He made his own point. Like, I mean, it has nothing to do with basketball. Clearly, like that's the big thing, fam. There's no way in the world that has anything to do with basketball. Anybody and their grandmother could look at it and say this is the same team, just in a different space. Like the only thing I could think that he would feel like it's changed is, okay, Brad Stevens ain't trying to hook his boy up. Maybe we all right. Maybe we might be okay. There's nobody that has, this type of interpersonal relationship with a player that makes it where I want to focus on trying to get this guy back to 100% and seen by the public that way versus let's go ahead and get wins. Because, I mean, I don't know if you guys agree with it, but I personally thought that Gordon Hayward starting was crazy, especially coming off his injury. Being a starter when everybody else was doing fine before they came back, you just stunted the growth. And at the forward spot, they are stacked, like ridiculously stacked. So it didn't even
Mhm.
make sense. So I mean, maybe he just felt like they were stepping on their own toes. That's just me though.
So we got
Question: do you all see the Celtics trading uh, Gordon Hayward in this draft?
Too attached. They got to prove their money right for it.
yeah, especially
They put a lot of money into the man, and he only played 1 year out of it. So I mean, technically, it's 2 out of the 4 years they signed him to. They got to give him at least one healthy year to try to prove themselves right, because Danny Ainge is all about trying to make sure he wins his deals, whether it's signing somebody or trading for somebody. So I mean, that's probably why they struck out on the AD trade. He was too scared to lose, which I mean, can't blame you, but I mean, same thing. I think he just got to feel like he's gonna be right, and trading him this soon. Nah,
it's not.
I don't know who would take it either. Taking Gordon Hayward right now is like taking Chandler Parsons like 2 years ago. So
Don't do that.
I don't know, bro. I'm just being honest. That's the first person I could think of when I thought about him getting traded to Memphis. It's like the same thing where I'm like, dude, that contract is not it. Contract's not it.
All right. I mean, NBA is wild. That we can all agree on. The Lakers could potentially win a title. We all kind of like, I don't know. We got to see how the rest of the team will shapes out. Kyrie could end up in Brooklyn, or he could just break our minds and go to LA, or he could end up in Utah if you trust 2K.
Oh
But
man.
regardless, NBA is freaking wild. Draft is soon. We will try and have an episode for you guys after the draft or during the draft, depending on what we can do. But this was fun. It's a 3-man weave today. And, we got our official fan-sided writer, Jalon, out here. We got our official culinary, I don't know why I'm still doing this, but it don't matter. Culinary look. On my recording, he's probably on this side. And if he's not, he's on this side. Anyway, NBA's wild. We got our official chef, DatManTyler, out here. We are all suffering fans because we got the Cavs, the Wizards, and the Bulls. None of us are Lakers, Celtics, or big market fans, which is actually impressive. But typically, there's always at least one that's like, you got LeBron. And, we've been suffering for only 2 years. I'm hating when people say the Lakers were really trash for so long. I'm like, they won like titles, like a lot of most of this year. They got one in 2010. But anyway, we're not gonna go in that 3-man weave though. Yeah. Hey.